This is the official pre-event press conference for EFC 119 from the World Sports Betting Arena, Johannesburg, South Africa.
Welcome, fight fans, to the EFC 119 pre-event press conference. We've got some huge fights for you. 2 title fights, bantamweight women's title fight, and none other than the current flyweight title being defended by Terence Bolelo, and Edson Machavane will be challenging. It's going to be a huge night for us all. Let's kick it off for some questions.
Thanks, Graham. I want to get straight into the main event because it is actually probably the best title fight of the year. 2 very equal fighters. So let me start with Terence, the Black Panther Bolelo. Terence, 2 interim titles you've had, the interim bantamweight title and the interim flyweight title. Do you feel the stakes are a lot higher now that not only is it for the unified, undisputed belt, it's a 24-carat belt, that finally you become an undisputed champion. At the same time, you know you're coming up against a guy like Edson Machavane. How do you feel going into the fight now that it's a legitimate title for you?
First of all, I want to thank the Almighty. We're all here, we're all safe. Yeah, man. I feel like I'm the king of the division. Zulu's not here. Interim becomes undisputed. I feel like I'm the king in the division, but I'm not going into this fight with a mindset of defending. I've made it clear it's hunting season for me, and I'm hunting these guys down. As much as they want to hunt me, I'm hunting them down as well. So, good opponent. Edson is dangerous, tough, but it's just my time now, guys. It's just my time.
Edson, let me pass that to you. Terence saying it's hunting season and it's his time. He respects you as the opponent. What do you feel about Terence Bolelo as a fighter, and how do you feel going into what is probably the biggest fight of your career?
First of all, thanks, Graham, for this opportunity. Thanks, Terence. Look, Terence is a great opponent. I'll be watching him, and Thursday night you're going to be handling business there. So yeah, I know what you got in front of me. Also I'm prepared for that. It's going to be a good one. The fans, they're going to win for this one. So let's do it.
Chuck here. Terence, for you, what are you hoping to exploit in Edson's work? Have you seen any opportunities that you see that you might expose on Thursday?
We're going to find out November 14, brother.
Edson, do you have any worries in terms of, because you haven't had a main event, so is it a thing of you anticipating if the stage could be bigger, or are you comfortable going into Thursday?
I'm comfortable, bro. I'm ready to go, I've been on big stage before, so I'm gonna be there just to do my work, and that's it.
Shad, for you, tell me about what it means to be active, because you had the stay down with Luke Michael, but he took the fight of Zakir Patat instead. So tell me in terms of what motivates you to now go into the fight on Thursday against Sia.
Like I said, I've been saying this, I'm a fighter. I don't care who it is there, I just want to get in there and do my thing and enjoy myself. And I've been waiting my whole life to be in a position that I am today, and there's no need for me to wait for a human being. So with or without him, I want to stay active, do what I do. I'm not proving to anybody, because I don't need to prove to Luke that I'm worthy of fighting him. If he feels like I'm not worthy enough, he's more than welcome to get in a cage and dance with me. If it doesn't want it, then yeah, it is what it is. But for me, the motivation is I just don't want to stay and train for fun, for free. I'm a pro fighter, and fighting is my life, and I train to fight. So thanks to Sia for taking the fight once again, and I wish Luke a very healthy camp. I'll see him next year.
Shadrach, just following up on that, do you feel as though this match against Thiago Demis and Omvemve is the final step for you before you get that title shot?
No. To be honest, I'm already the #1 contender in the middleweight, with or without Sia. Facing him doesn't really change anything for me, because I asked Graham to give me a fight. I just wanted a fight. For me, it's not about proving, like I said, it's not about proving anything to Luke. It's not about proving anything to anybody into this world. I've already proven enough to everybody. I've finished every fight except for one. Even the one I lost, I got finished. So I finished every fight, so I'd say. So what else do I need to prove? So for me, it's just like I want to stay active and have fun because, yeah, that's what I do. And nothing to prove.
Awesome. Horatius, question for you. So your opponent, Zico Makengele, is a former welterweight champion. Do you feel any pressure whatsoever heading into this fight?
Okay. No pressure at all. You know, I know he's the former welterweight champion. I'm excited about this fight. No pressure. You know, I've been here for a while. I've trained. You know, we've done our best. You know, no pressure at all.
Shadrach, can I come back to you? And then we'll move on to the main event in a minute. I'm just curious about how this beef with Luke Michael started. Can you explain to us how it started? And also, more importantly, can you tell us how it's going to end?
Well, no disrespect, but it started with Luke's wife. And for me, if you start something, you got to be brave enough to continue what you're starting. Okay, don't have hard feelings, because when she came at me in August, she wrote a whole Bible. I never even read it, to be honest. And on a press conference, she was going off. I never said anything stupid to her or disrespected her. I just told Luke to control his wife, and then he went off at me. And for me, I told Luke, his coach, the way I got into this country, no one in this world can threaten or make me feel like I'm a less of a human being, or make me feel like Luke, you shake me, basically. I'll never be shaken. One thing I can tell Luke, with all due respect as a champion, he's got what I want, and I will not stop until I get it.
But whatever happens between him and Zakir Badat in December...
I don't care. What happens there is none of my business. I'm not a welterweight. He wins or lose, none of my business. I want Luke for that belt.
Edison, back to you. I mean, we spoke about, on Fighting Talk, about fighting for the title, possibly against Terence. And how do you feel now in terms of like that moment has manifested itself, and we're here now coming to you on Thursday?
Look, it's feeling great, like nobody questioned God, you know, like you manifestate this, things happen, like we put in work, we both great athletes, we deserve to be here, and this day is gonna happen, you know, like God's plan, Edson's fight, that's it.
Terence, tell me in terms of like what fighting Edison is for you, because it'd be like, yeah, you had this date out with Zulu, but like, yeah, we're now at this moment, and tell me what you want to showcase on your part.
Look, at the end of the day, like I said, always fighters fight, and it's going to be a first fight, whether it's him, Zulu, who else is in the division, doesn't matter, international opponent. I'm always going to show up and fight and show up. So, yeah, I'm just ready to go in there, perform with freedom, natural, and yeah, and just do my thing and showcase my level and show everyone that I'm ready, man, for that. They know what Contender Series, UFC, you name it.
Graham, I want to ask you in terms of what does it mean for you having a female title fight on this card in Dana and yeah.
Juliet, yeah. Incredible. We've been waiting a long time to get that division going. I think it's been held up quite a bit. And now we've got the talent to really fulfill that slot, which is important. You know, the bantamweights, female bantamweights have yielded some incredible champions. Amanda Lino was the champion in that division, a very, very successful fighter in EFC. And I would have loved to have seen her defend that belt. She'd lost the flyweight belt to Manon Fiorot, who's gone on to great things in the UFC. So I would have loved to have seen her defend it, but it didn't quite happen that way. But we've got Juliet, who's an incredible athlete. She's 6'1". She's an absolute brute, gets in there, gets things done. And Dana, who's obviously a fan favorite here, South African girl, and has proven at every fight that she belongs to be in this hexagon, yielding it for a title. I mean, she puts on huge fights and always leaves there bloody. So I can't wait to see her fight on Thursday, because I think that it's also been a long time coming for her. Her and her camp have been pushing for the fight with Lena. Didn't quite transpire. But we found a legit Nigerian athlete to fulfill that. He's going to be great.
Graham, keeping with the women's title fight, I wanted to know, is there by any chance an arrangement with AKO, as Juliet Chukwu is part of the AKO championship tournament? Like, is there any arrangement there, or?
My understanding of that, as per her manager, is that she has a very loose commitment with AKO. It isn't set in stone. She's looking to, she signed with EFC in order for us to boost her into the UFC. So I think there'll be no going back to AKO, as I understand it. There'll be her trying to get the title, possibly do a defense with us, maybe 2, I'm hoping, and then we're going to try and position her into the UFC if she gets there. But, you know, that's discounting Dana, and Dana's can't be discounted.
Definitely. And, of course, this is a major weekend in the world of combat sports. You know, we've got Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, we've got UFC 309, and we've got EFC 119. Why, in your opinion, is EFC 119 a cannot-miss event?
Look, I mean, we represent something that the rest of the world wants, and it's taken us 20 years of hard graft to get there, which is African talent. I don't see that anywhere in the world. I watched some promotion this morning on Supersport, and it was a European promotion, and it wasn't great. We've got Renier Derrida who's just come in and said, don't sign with 1FC. We've got a lot of guys who are positioning themselves, and they've come through EFC. So if you really want to see no holds barred, we don't hold our athletes down and not let them do what they want to do and advance their careers, promotion, and also promotion where under that pretense they're going to be able to give the best, because I think that there's a lot of restrictions around current promotions that don't allow them to do certain things. And we don't have that. I mean, every single person that stands up here, sits up here, that gets in there, sits here and goes, I want to be in the UFC. And they know it's not, when you're in the UFC, you put on big fights. But you know what it takes for a matchmaker at the UFC to go, oh, that's a standout guy or girl. It takes incredible fights. And that's what we produce. So you're getting all the precursors to that. You're getting guys at their height of their careers, just about a transition. And that is why you should be watching EFC, because you get the best product and the best athletes about to transition into the biggest platform in the world.
Questions for Ndidi Olonu. Ndidi, I just want to pick up on what Chichi's talking about. We're talking about the women's title fight. Juliet Chukwu, a fellow Nigerian. Can you give us, from your perspective, what it would mean for Nigeria to have a champion, a female champion in mixed martial arts? Because we talked a lot about Kamaru Usman and Israel Adesanya. You guys are now part of this new wave. What would it mean for the sport in Nigeria if a woman wins here on Thursday night?
You know, it will be great. I think it's going to project Nigeria into a new light in the MMA world. It will be great. It will be really great for her. She's also my teammate back home. You know, I know her personally. Like Graham said, she's a brute. She's a bully, you know, and she's strong, eh? So we should expect some blood in the cage. I hope I'm done fighting before then, eh?
Stay with the microphone. Zico Makengele, a former champion. He hasn't fought here, though, since losing to Mark Human, losing the bout, about a year and a half. It's been some time. Is it difficult to gauge where he is after he's been training at CIT with Drickus and the rest of those guys up in Pretoria? Is it difficult for you to game plan now because he's moved gyms and we haven't seen a lot of him for the past year and a half? What do you expect from Zico Makengele?
So from Zico, I expect everything. You know, I don't know where he has been training. I don't know how he has been training, but I expect everything. I don't expect him to be the same fighter a year ago. I don't expect him to be the same fighter now. So I expect everything. It doesn't matter where he's training. I expect he has improved a lot, you know, so I'm good. You know, I'm good. I'm ready for everything.
Cool, thanks very much. Terence, I'm coming back to you if I may. Wrestling for MMA in Cape Town, up against Creonte. It's more than just wrestling against jiu-jitsu. Both you guys are very well-rounded. If it stays on the feet, do you think you might have the edge?
Whether it's on the feet, on the mat, doesn't matter. I'm here to showcase why I'm the best, Simon. And people wrestling against jiu-jitsu, he's got grappling, I got striking. It's time to showcase my whole skill set, man, my full package. I got a lot of tools. that I've been hiding. And yeah, man, I'm ready to showcase it also. I mean, wherever the fight goes, you're going to see Thursday night, Terence Balela will be comfortable there, and I'm going to showcase why I'm the best.
Edson, all those finishes, do you feel under pressure to pull off another superb submission win? Because every time we expect the trapdoor spider to pull off some kind of crazy choke or submission, are you also happy to keep it on the feet? And what kind of dangers do you think Terence presents to you as a jiu-jitsu fighter primarily, but stylistically?
Look, this is not a grappling match. It's not a kickboxing match. Like, this is MMA, you know. So I've been working for the, like, before I came here in South Africa, like, my background was taekwondo. I have to fix some stuff, spend some time on the mat, and Thursday night is gonna put on show, you know. Like, I'm ready for Terence.
You know, I always think about when we say striker versus grappler, I think about Lutando Biko and Zika and Zulu Boy. I mean, their trilogy or their build-up, it was literally one knocked the other out, another one submitted the other guy, and they were completely against each other's strengths. So I think that when it comes down to what guys are historically, in there, it just gets washed away. You're washed away completely when you're all-rounded and so talented as these two are.
Since you got the microphone, Graham, you were grinning when Shadrach was talking about wanting Luke after Thiago Demis and November. Just give us an idea of what's happening with the welterweight and the middleweight divisions. Is that possibility that regardless of what happens between Luke and Zach in December, and regardless of what happens with Shadrach against November on Thursday, that's a fight that you'll want to put on in the middleweight division?
Yeah, I forget how much I actually give to the public on what happens behind the scenes, but that fight was offered. Shadrach took the fight. Luke said that he wanted to go down and compete at welterweight. So that's where we ended off. And it wasn't great because we built the whole fight here. And I really wanted to do that fight straight away, in fact. But the fact that we had to do the welterweight fight, it is what it is. I'm not saying that it's not a great fight. But I think for him to stand here and take another fight is just crazy and great. And it's just really what I love to see, because no promoter wants to sit behind athletes that are picking fights and waiting it out, because in 6 months the landscape can completely change. And that's how long he'd probably have to wait if he wanted to fight for the title. So I'm glad he's taken up this charge. And as to the hype and everything that's gone on between all of them, I thought it was great up until a certain point, and I've had words with both of the camps privately about some issues that kind of came about with external people getting involved. And I said, look, you know, I don't really care. I mean, you can say what you want on social media, but if there's any kind of threats or anything like that, it'll be dealt with very swiftly in this organization. So I think we're on a good keel now. I still love that they want to tear each other apart. And it doesn't matter who's involved in the whole rhetoric of social media. The reality is when they get in there eventually, hopefully, it's going to be a war. It's going to be insane. So I think that's what I'm focused in on.
And whilst you're there, we were talking about Juliet against Dana van Veek. In December, we've also got Jessica Menemini taking on, I think it's Felista Mugo, am I correct?
Indeed.
Women's fights in EFC are a bit like London buses. You know, you wait a whole year and 2 title fights come along in a row. What are you setting up for these divisions in 2025? Because they are 2 cracking women's MMA fights.
I think that it's a lot slower than I would have hoped. I mean, building these divisions, there's so many opportunities, and you see the prospects in front of you and you chase them, and then they kind of disperse. And I think that's the problem with especially women's MMA in Africa, is they need to get so much experience. And I'm trying to pull them all together to get experience with us so they can all fight each other. But they seem to bleed into other promotions because it's convenient, and there's a lot of obviously travel restrictions and that type of stuff. Getting people from around Africa into South Africa is horrible, and it's irritating because we're part of the same continent. It should be just so easy to be able to come here and fight here, and then we can pull all the athletes together and create a legitimate African women's division. So that's the long-term goal. How long that could take, that could happen tomorrow if certain people sign and we get them on board, which is what we're doing. We're onboarding people. So it's a bit of a wishy-washy answer, but the goal is to get a strong division going, preferably in the flyweights, bantamweights, and then just keep on coasting there and build up as many. And I think sorry to interject, I know you want to say something else, but as soon as you have a title holder, very much like we were in Limbo Land with Terence, is as soon as you got a target on your back, that's what we want to see. You know, Luke's got a target on his back. T's got a target on his back. It's great. That's when the division comes alive. Igor's had the target on his back forever.
My last question to you is, we've heard from Terence and we've heard from Edson about what we expect from them. As a matchmaker, this title fight makes complete sense in terms of them deserving these shots. What do you expect in terms of performance from both these fighters in the main event of EFC 119?
Well, actually, only really unpacked it while we were standing up here and looking at the guys, and just their body language, just understanding what they're like when they are in the hexagon. I think, and I know it's cliched, but I think it's going to be a shocker. I think we're going to sit back and go, what the hell did we just watch? Like, I didn't expect that to happen, because these guys can present any aspect, and they've got every single tool in that arsenal. So that's why I think we're going to see an absolute war, and I'll be surprised if this thing ends quickly. I think this is going to be a bloodbath. That's my call on the fight. I think it's going to be a war.
One more question for Graham Bossman. Since it's November, almost December, can you perhaps up the bonus fast to 20K? 20K, guys?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
I second that.
We'll do that. We'll do that, T. We'll do that, buddy. You've already. This is the second time he's asked.
Guys, I want 5% of, if you guys get a bonus.
Starting his own management company at the same time. That's it, folks. Thank you very much for joining us for the EFC 119 pre-event press conference. Sorry, I'm just getting indicated we've got to do a face-off. So let's do that before I say goodbye to everybody. All right. For the flyweight title.
EFC 119 will witness two incredible title fights, with a stellar main event featuring interim champion Terence the Black Panther Balelo,
trying to turn into it.
Terence is cracking on it. He's inverted, he's getting the tap. Balelo wins. Wow!
and Edson the Trapdoor Spider Machavani, vying for the genuine 24-karat flyweight title.
Pulling him in.
Squeezed on.
Into his web. There's the tap. That's what a win for Machavani.
The Trapdoor Spider is just so good.
Whilst the co-main event will usher in a new era, when the women's bantamweight champion will be crowned as South Africa's Dana Van Wyk, and Nigeria's Juliet Chukwu battle it out for the 135-pound golden buckle. EFC 119, Thursday the 14th of November, Johannesburg, South Africa. Broadcast and ticket details at efcworldwide.com.